My name is Tashieanna O'Connor. Welcome to Childcare Challenges and Dilemma in Daycare. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
How you doing? Yeah, my name is Michael Hooks. I'm here to share my experience of coming up of a single father.
Like I said, I love the picture. I see that you have your wife, your beautiful wife in it. And before you even meet her, before that, let me explain to me what some of the struggles that you go through when you were a single father and what you see that you would like to see in place. Some of those struggles, what it was like obtaining custody, the battle, the challenges that you faced.
Well, as a single father coming up raising my daughter and the moms wasn't there, I went through a lot of challenges, trying to work and be there for school events, doctor appointments, all type of things.
Okay. So when it comes on to like daycare, how was it like to find daycare? What were some of the challenges? Because I know if she gets sick, they want to call you out. And how was it like missing days or what was the system like when it comes on to you obtaining custody? I know for mom, they have a lot of things in place. Like, okay, here is this. It's like basically I outline for mom, right? As I tell you earlier, when
Hmm.
we think about single parents, we've mostly associated with single mom. We don't have a safe haven for dad or a system in place. I mean, they would tell you, yeah, the same system applies for women does apply for men,
Hmm.
but let's be real, right?
Right,
The
right, right,
dad,
right.
they looked at you, especially the minority men, they looked at you as, you could do it. You're a man. Get up and go work. You're
Right,
being
right,
lazy. Get up and
right.
do this. Get up and do that.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
what was in place for you during those times?
Well, basically, me going through the court, it was kind of not that bad for me because I was in my daughter's life from day one when moms wasn't present. And when I went to court and proved the things that I proved, the court, looked at me different because they see that I was there from day one and I never went anywhere. So I really kind of had the court on my side because after eight, they figured out that dad was there and mom's wasn't there, and I was the one that was behind my daughter. The court was kind of behind my back though, so it was kind of different. It ain't like that with all dads, but I that's what I experienced.
Hey, that's good. That's good. That's good. So you're saying that what will make it easier for most dads is like make sure that you're in your child life from day one. Make sure that you're not just
Yeah,
popping up and say, you know
no
what, I don't
matter
want
what.
custody.
Yeah, stay
Okay.
there. As a dad, be 100% dad. Do what you got to do. It pays off. And I was really surprised that the court was like seeing everything in my favor.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mhm.
I have a
Mhm.
thing before and it was a complete different experience. All right. So you're saying the court senior year, that's good though. That's good. So for those in your way that's there in the court scene in your favor, then was there anything in place for you to say, okay, you've been there from day one, as a dad that's been there since day one, did they give you anything to say, you know what, all right, if you need additional help, here's a resource that you could go to. And if you did go to those resources, was they helpful outside the court system?
Well, actually, it's good that you asked that question because as far as going to the court and being a single dad, it wasn't really much help that I got from the court. I got that help from family. I had mom, she was there. Moms know I had to go on the road. So moms was watching my daughter and stuff like that, make sure she was good like that. But as far as getting help from the court, there wasn't much help from the court besides me proving to them that I was there in my daughter's life. I proved that she had life insurance, she had health insurance and stuff like that. So that type of stuff showed them that I was into my daughter's life and that she was well taken care of.
But for fathers that don't have those things, like you said, it's not like that for most fathers will face a different thing that don't have the health
Right,
insurance,
right. You
the
got to
life
make sure she
insurance.
got insurance and all that type of stuff. And once the court see that, then they look at you totally different. Like, yeah, he's taking care of his daughter. She got insurance. She covered, or medical and all that stuff. Anything happened to her, she's covered.
When it comes on to school system, and if you out on the road, they say your mom will be the one to go there and look after her. And
Yeah, but the school was calling me. They had my number, they had my mom's number, but they would call me first to see exactly. They knew what type of job I did. So they would call me and ask me, do I think I can meet the date that was needed for me to be in the school. Sometime I will get a load to come back home and meet that date that they asked of me.
Okay, and then what happened when you can't meet those dates? And that's when your mom filled in for you.
If I couldn't make it and I was far out, then moms will fill in for me.
Okay.
That was a help. Having somebody there to fill in for you when you're not there was a lot of help.
So that's when basically having a support system for dad will
Right.
work for them.
Right.
What would you tell your advice? What would you tell dad that don't have that support? How would you?
Stick in there and just try to see if you can't be there. Depends on what type of job you're working. Just try to work with someone because everybody needs somebody to help them out. It's hard to do it on your own and stuff like that. So just stick in there and talk to someone that can help you and you'll get by.
Say you drive a truck, doing this truck, creating the job that you do. I know it costs you a lot to miss out of on your daughter. Like, how does that affect
Yeah,
you
yeah.
as a dad?
Yeah, being out there and knowing that I'm out there doing it for her, I hated that I missed it, but I understood why I missed it, because now we come to the point where she's graduating from high school now in May. Yeah, she's graduating from high school now, so it's a beautiful thing, to know what me and her went through and dealing back and forth. And now here's the outcome of now I get to see my daughter get her diploma and move further in life.
Hey,
And she's
so
going
happy.
to the Air Force. She want to go to the Air Force, so that's her plans. It's a beautiful thing.
That's good. Stan and I have two daughters who are in the Navy. So I'm telling you,
Nice. That's
just tell her to go with a plan. Like I tell my daughter, I'm happy for you, right?
yeah.
That
Thank you so much.
that
Appreciate
now
it.
she's going to the Air Force to serve the country. That's great. That's really,
Yeah,
really great. And she's gonna.
yeah.
My daughter always tell me that the Air Force they have a better thing. She's like, "Mommy, I'm telling you, the Air Force is better." I said, "Okay."
Yeah. They got a lot of stuff. They prepare them so when they come out back in society, they get all first picks, or
Yes.
they get priority jobs and everything like that. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful
Well,
thing, though. It's a
it
beautiful
is.
thing.
It is. So how is it now? Going back to you and now that you see her graduate, now that you've seen her go into the Air Force after college, when she was younger, right?
Mhm.
What are some of the stuff that affected you as a dad when
What,
not
not having the moms there?
yeah, not having a mom there. And then as female, they get into when they start going to that cycle and their body changes and you know what?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. As I answer that, it was definitely tough because when she got sick and I was on the road, I had to try to get loads to come back home, because my mom's at a certain age and she had her stuff to take care of. So as a dad, I knew I had to get back to her to make sure I get her the help that she needed, like take her to the doctors and stuff like that. So it was rough. It was rough being on the road. And when she gets sick, sometimes I couldn't get there, but sometimes I had to make sure I get a load to come back home to take care of that situation with my daughter.
And what happened when you don't get those loads?
I would have to depend on my mom's. I hated to depend on my mom's, but my mom's was there. She always told me, "You go out there, do what you got to do. I'm here for her. If anything happened with her, I'll take care of it." So I had that support with mom, so that made it a lot more easier for me to be out there on the road and do what I had to do for her.
Okay, and how do you explain to your daughter why mom is not there? Because I know kids ask why. And, they said we girls are daddy's girls. Well, because even with my dad now and I'm 21, no. So even me, my dad is in Jamaica, and if something happened, I call my dad like I expect him to
Oh
solve it
yeah,
at the
oh
age,
yeah,
right?
oh yeah. It's like
So,
that. It's like that.
but then I still call my mom too. So how does that not being having mom there affect her? Because a lot of time we still need our mom. We need our mom, and we want her.
Well, one thing I do, I don't talk down on her moms. I always tell my daughter, always call your moms, always talk to your moms. Things didn't work out between me and moms. That happened in life and stuff like that. So that really affected her when she found out that we wasn't gonna be together. But I said, look at it this way. You still have both of your parents in your life. You understand? So I said, being here, you're gonna be here with daddy, and you're gonna be living with daddy, but always call your moms, talk to your moms, ask your moms any questions you want to ask her and stuff like that. So that's what I used to do. Always just encourage her to always speak to her mother, even though her moms wasn't there. I never talked bad about her moms to her. So I kept it like that.
That's good. So when she gets to
Hmm.
that body changes stuff and that stuff, you just say, "Go to mommy."
Yes, I tell her certain things you call moms and ask moms what's going on because you know daddy don't know nothing about that.
If you had to do everything over again, what would you do different? And how would you tell a single dad that, listen, if I had to go through my journey and if I have to do this, this is what I the pros and the con, and this is what I would do or won't do.
Actually, you know something? I don't think I would change anything because the way that I experienced it, it was surprising to me. As far as like the way that I did things with my daughter, you know, always had on my insurance and always making sure she was good. And when I proved to the court that I could take care of her as a single dad, it was very surprising that the court like gave me 100% without even me really fighting. I didn't have to put up a fight. All I did was prove what I was doing, and I was just doing what a normally dad would do, was taking care of his kid. But when I proved it to the court, the outcome was very surprising. So really, I wouldn't change anything that I did. But I would tell the dads, make sure you cover your kid insurance. Make sure you keep all paperwork with schooling. All that stuff counts because it's gonna come a time you're gonna have to prove it.
Okay, he was in the military. I'm looking at the tag.
No. That's my tag. All my family was in the military though. See, I just got military background, you know, but
Okay.
I haven't been in the military. But that's why my daughter going to the military because my whole entire family is military.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
What about those fathers that don't know how to do it? Like, for example, I have a dad, right? He had 5 kids, right? He was locked up.
right.
Mom is right, and he ended up coming out and he got custody of his kids. His kids are in my daycare. When I hear the stress and the burden and how
Yeah, it's true.
just overwhelming, right? What would
Yeah, it's
you say
true.
to
It's true.
somebody like him that just feel like they can't do it anymore? They just now he's working $15 an hour, right? He not getting help from the
Wow.
state, right? He's just working. The only thing they get is state insurance, but beside that, he just working and trying to find his way through. What would you say to dad like those? I feel like because every time he talks to me, he say, you know what? I'm a felon, so nobody's gonna hire me.
Nah, that's not true. I done been there. Information that I would share with him. If the moms had been on any type of government assistance and he got arrears, they got a program where they'll cut that raise down to $500 no matter what type of amount that it is, and that'll help you out a lot.
Okay, so when you get custody of kids, they have that program that will cut
Well,
it.
he don't. Yeah, he don't even have to have custody. He don't even have half custody. It's the point of her being getting help from the government. If she
Mhm,
got any type of help from the government, it's
mhm.
a program that a lot of people don't know about that you can apply for to cut your arrears down to $500. It don't matter if you owe 40,000, whatever. They will cut your arrears down to $500.
What kind of program is that? How can they go about?
What he would have to do is whatever state he's in, he will have to go to child support
Mhm,
um and agency, a child support agent, and ask them about it because they're not going to tell you. If
mhm.
you ask them about it, then they will give you the information for you to follow through with it.
Okay, so they will give you the information, and that program will cut
Right,
everything down
right.
to five
Hmm.
hundred.
They just don't broadcast it. I find that out through somebody else. Somebody pass it on to me. So what I do, I pass it on to everyone else.
Okay, so you hear that, guys? Make sure if you have child support, you could go there. They cut it down. That's what because that's what a lot of most guys why they feel like they don't want to be in their kids' life because this child support
Right,
is over them, and
right.
you know what? I can't afford it. And like I said, when he sit here in my office, right, in my daycare, in my side of the daycare
Hmm.
side,
Hmm.
and he breaking it down, you could actually feel the load and I want to be there for
Yeah,
the kid. I
yeah.
want to do
It's
better.
overwhelming. It's something else I would share with them. It's you just said something about them not want to be in their kid's life. I went through that because I have now my oldest son is 22 years old, going on 22 years old, right? My child support is done, but I'm just dealing with the arrears. I couldn't get my arrears cut down because she was working. She wasn't asked getting anything from the government assistance. I called her, reach out to her, tell her, this thing is old. My son is a certain age. Let's go ahead and be done with it. you know, she didn't want to be done with it. So it do make you feel like that when you go through that, like you don't want to be in this kid's life. But I say to them, it's not your kid's fault. It's not the kid's fault. So just continue to being a dad. Whatever the moms is going through, whatever, you just got to push it to the side and be a dad. Because she made me lose my CDLs at one point. I was supposed to work for MTA, and because of the RIAs, they was going to suspend my license. I explained to her, they're going to suspend my license. I'm going to work for MTA. I'm going to start my training. She didn't care. She didn't care. But as a dad, when they suspend my license, I felt like I didn't want to be in my kid's life anymore. But I had to come out of that and say, it's not his fault. Let me go ahead and continue to be the dad that I am and just keep pushing. And finally, I kept pushing and I got my CD back and stuff like that. So I just want to let them know if they feel that way, I guess I say it's normal to feel that way because what you go through with the mother, but don't stop being a dad to your kids. It's not their fault.
No, it's not. And what do you say about the dad that are staying in a relationship and are getting abused? Because I did an interview with one young man that saying that the best part of the feeling, because he was staying for his kids, right? And it's when he
Hmm.
called 911 and he realized that the cops do help men when they getting abused. And he's like, well,
Yeah.
talk to somebody, you feel like there's nobody to talk to. How do you feel like, what would
Right.
you say to guys that feel like, their homeboys will laugh at them or they have no one to talk to? I know you say you have a support system, right? And,
Hmm.
and maybe there's some point that that support system wasn't there or is there, if they was always there, but what advice would you give to these dads that be like, listen, I'm in this relationship, but I'm getting abused and I'm afraid to call for help?
Pray. Tell them to pray. And, if you pray and you pray and you pray, God will pull it through for you.
A woman is beating on them and they said, tell them to pray. They being abused.
No, I'm going to also elaborate on that, but I'm
Uh-huh.
saying like spiritual wise, you got to
Okay.
pray when
Okay.
you're
Yeah,
going
I
through these
agree with that.
situations.
I
Yeah, you
agree with
gotta you gotta pray. You gotta pray. Now, I've been through that. When a woman putting your hands on you and you as a man, you gotta use the system. You can't be afraid to use the system because if she calls, the system gonna come and get you. They don't want to hear nothing you got to say. When the shoe is on the other feet, you gotta use the system. Especially if she putting your hands on you, you gotta use the system because you already know the system is just one way. Once that phone call is made, when they get there on the scene, they don't want to hear nothing. They gonna put handcuffs on you. They gonna take you to jail. So if it's on the other foot, you gotta use the system. You can't be forget about what anybody gonna say. You gotta use the system because if you don't, then the system gonna definitely use you.
What did you say at the after? Because most of them, like they, like I tell you, they're afraid that after they fall and they're not gonna get help from the system. Because like the challenge, right? A man, if they say a man is more stronger than a woman, and the fact that that is such that look at in a broad way that like when the woman call first, it's always believe the woman first, right? I mean, I get backlash, guys. I'm not saying female don't go through it. That's not what I'm saying. But this is about male that facing it and male
Right.
that afraid. Because I personally know a guy that he's Jamaican and he wasn't allowed to talk to any Jamaican female because he's like Jamaican female and Jamaican culture too close. So his girl think that he was cheating. This guy would never. When I tell you he loved his woman, he loved the woman. He would never.
Right.
And the
Right.
fact that
Right.
she caught him outside talking in a Jamaican restaurant talking to someone in Connecticut because he had a license to carry. She pulled out a gun. She and her daughter and shot him right there.
Oh man.
And he was being abused. I remember the week before that he turned to me. He said, "Nick," he said, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of my wife." And I didn't know how to say to him, right? Because he have the kids with her. He said, but I don't want to call. And then the judge looked at me like I'm the wrong one. So a week later, he dies. In those situations, how can you split the help for them? And he died, and the wife is still somewhere out there. The daughter got caught. The mom let the daughter take the fall, but the mom is out there somewhere.
Right. Right. Those type of situations, you got to get up and leave. I've been in those type of situations with gun put it to the back of my head as I'm sleeping. In those type of situations, you gotta leave. You hate to leave and you leave your kid there, but you gotta get out of situation so you can be there for your kid. Cause it's not, look what happened to him. He got shot.
No, he's
I
done.
was in Yeah, exactly. I was in that situation where the abuse was going on. As I'm sleeping, I felt something nudging me in the back of my head. And come to find out, it was a gun being put to my head while I was sleeping. Once I woke up and that person went to work, I left. So I'm saying to any other dads out there, if you're going through situations like that, get up and leave before it's too late. You can't stay there and say, well, I'm going to stay there for the kid, because that's not going to help you. You leave and you still help your kid from a distance. You understand?
Mm,
Look at that. Look at
definitely.
that guy. That guy didn't even have a chance. She pulled out the gun and killed him.
Yeah, her daughter. His daughter's 18. The daughter's in jail, and the mom let the daughter took the blame.
Huh?
The mom let the daughter took the blame. Say it was the daughter's fault, and they can't find the mom. She left
Wow.
Connecticut.
A lot of people don't know how serious it is to be on the other feet. You know, as a dad, we go through it too.
Exactly. And that's why I want to, have, Dan like you come on and share your experience, especially even if it's abuse. And during those time when you say you was in it, is there someone that you could have confided in, or how do you feel about not being able to confide in someone to tell them about, what, this is what's going on with me. This is what it is.
Yeah, at the time that is going on, you don't have no one to talk to. It could be really, really mind-boggling. Like, you know, you be thinking, if I go to this person and say something to this person about this situation, what they gonna think of me? It's hard to turn to somebody when you, as a man, being abused by a lady. So it's kind of hard, but you got to find it deep inside yourself to say, well, I got to get help, or I got to make certain moves, because if I don't, it can be life threatening to me and stuff like that. Like I said, in that situation, you got to get out of it. And that was my move. I got out of it because we got into another argument. She told me if she had the chance that she would have really killed me. So I was glad that I got out of it.
When you get out, you still was there to do what you got to do with your child if you had a
Yeah,
kid
yeah, yeah,
together.
yeah, yeah. What you have to do, you have to go to court, and get the court involved and get your visitation and stuff like that. Get documents on paper, because you don't want to deal with that person on the outside without any documentations, anything like that. So you got to protect yourself.
It said, like guys, protect yourself. Like this is why I want to create the safe space, because a lot of men I know that are being abused, literally. I know them, right? And I
Hmm.
ask them to come on, but they still with their wife. I know this man right now. He's about like 60. His wife is like 40 years old, and he's getting abused, right? And as a female, I don't know. I'm not in a man's shoes, but I could sympathize,
Right,
right?
right, 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 right,
Um, but I'm trying to find this platform where guys that were being abused or is being abused could come on and feel like there's no judgment zone. This is a way to express everything. This is a way to talk about
right, right,
what's going on. And how
right,
do we help those guys that are being
right.
abused? How do we help those men? And when they see men like you comes on, and we give them that motivation to say, you know what?
Hmm.
Was in it, and now this is a
Right,
result of
right,
your life. Right now,
right. This
you're a
is
truck
result. Right,
driver. Now you
right,
have a beautiful wife in the background.
right, right,
So that you have your family together. Your daughter going off to the Air Force. You have your son
right, right.
older, and this is the thing for walk away.
Away.
Leave, and when you
You can
leave,
regroup.
you're not leaving the kid per se.
No, you're not leaving the kid. You're leaving for your safety, and you can regroup and still take care of your kid.
And what if the woman goes to the cops first and tells story?
This is why you need paper trail.
Mhm.
Whatever's going on, you need to report it. As a man, don't be scared to report it, because it's gonna come a time you need to show that paper trail. Because if she calls, you can always fill out the paperwork and say, "Well, listen, I've been making reports. Here go my reports. This is what's going on." Once they see that, they're gonna see that you've been trying to, report the incident and stuff like that. So you got to protect yourself. You need to protect yourself. Making reports is very important. I had to learn the hard way. I didn't want to do it, but I learned that I needed to do it, and it helped me out.
You make a report. That's what you say.
Yes, I did. Yes, I made my reports, and when it was come to time to show them, I showed them, and they seen it. And then, it wasn't like they was coming there. You know how like when they call the cops and the man is standing there, first thing you want to do, turn around, put your hands behind your back. First thing I did is say, officer, listen, I have my reports. Here go my reports. I've been to court. I've been to the precinct. Once I showed them that report, it was a totally different ball game. They was listening to what I had to say. They were more like, let's listen, ma'am. He got reports. It's you, da da da. And then when I explained to him, she trying to get me arrested or whatever. It's not true what's going on. I got my report. So, fellas, if you want to protect yourself, make your reports. Your reports is what change up the whole situation.
I find that kind of biased. When you said, when you call, she wasn't arrested. But if she had called, you would have been arrested.
I say, you know how it is when they make the call? When officers get there, the first thing they're gonna do, they're gonna look at the man and want to arrest the man.
But why not look at the woman the same way?
They don't, for whatever reason, how the system is. It's like if I didn't have that proof to show them, I've been going to court, I've been reporting the incidents, it would have been a totally different ball game. Because when they get out, they're already coming for me. When I lift up my hand and say, officer, I have my reports, it changed the whole situation. It changed the whole atmosphere. Everything changed. When they see my paperwork, they calm down. They pulled me to the side. They read my reports, and then everything was towards her.
And they still didn't arrest her. But if it was you, you would have been in handcuffs.
She got arrested sometimes. She did because it was physical. You understand? It was physical. And once I told them no, she put her hands on me. Even though she called you guys, I didn't call you, but she put her hands on me. And when I showed the paperwork, it was different. She the one went to jail. I'm telling the guys is if you don't have that report and they come there, they're gonna side with the system and the lady. That just for some reason it's like that. So if they want to protect themselves, make the report. Don't be scared to reach out and make your report.
Okay. And is it, I know for ladies, they have these abusive hotlines that you got females to call, right? I know,
Right, right.
like, oh, I don't want to call an abusive hotline and be like, I'm being abused. Like I tell you, with the guy and with the other men, well, I know more than one man that's being abused. When I tell them the number, they don't want to call it because I'm not trying to get myself killed, right? Because these females in
Right.
Connecticut, but I'm not trying to get myself killed. I'm not only Connecticut, but female in general that's abused guys, right? They're afraid to call. They don't want to call.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. You have to build up that confidence to make that call because you feel a certain way as a man calling the system on a woman. But I learned the hard way to use the system because if I didn't use the system, it will put me in a situation where I don't need to be. And I'm not the one that's doing the abusing. So after taking so much abuse from her, what I did, I said, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start making my complaints against her, and making my reports. And when I did that and I seen the change, that's when I knew it was okay to walk in the courts and making reports or go to the priest and making reports. Because if you don't protect yourself, they gonna side with the lady. Fellas, make your reports, please. Don't care what nobody say about you because it's you. When you sit in that cell, ain't nobody gonna be there for you. Make your reports. Your reports is the way out. When the cops see that a man is going to court and he making his reports, when they on the scene, the situation is totally different because you got that paperwork in your hand saying, "This is what I did. I stood before a judge. I had to go to court and get a restraining orders, all that stuff, all your paperwork. It counts." So I tell them, please make your reports.
So how was it when you go to court and trying to get a restraining order against her?
What you do first is you go to the precinct, make your report, right? When the situation happens. When you leave the precinct, then you also go to the court. What I used to do is I didn't even have a date. I went to family court and I knew what court to go to. So what I would do, I would go to the officer outside and tell him I need to speak to the judge. It's an emergency. I have paperwork here. So when I stand before the judge, I will show the judge, listen, judge, this is what I'm going through, and I need a restraining order. And I will get my restraining order like that.
Okay, so the judge would grant it to you. They didn't look at you in a
Mhm.
friend. They didn't look at you as a weak man coming in. Because
Mhm.
that's, I mean, come on, that's a lot of men. The egotistic, right?
Yeah,
They come look at me
yeah.
as weak.
Right, right. Don't even think of that. Walk in there with your paperwork. I walked in there with paperwork. So the judge seen I went and made a move. So they granted me. You know I'm not lying. And they had her serve with the order protection and all stuff like that.
Okay. So see, guys, the system do work for male, but you got to make use it first before she use it.
You got to
Basically,
make
it's
that
like a
move.
check move.
You can't be stuck on it. I'm a man. No, go do what you need to do.
Okay, so if you're a dad, a single dad, and whether single, whether a dad in a marriage, whether a dad in a, in a relationship, whatever, don't even have to be a dad. Whether you're male in a relationship, you're saying
Yeah, whether
make
you're
that
male in a
before.
relationship, you still can make that same moves. Get your paperwork, guys. Your paperwork helps out a lot. That paper trail is a blessing.
That's good. That's good. So now that you've been through all this,
Hmm.
you've been through the abuse, you've been through the court system, you're working.
Hmm.
You're
Hmm.
amazing. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
So you've been through all this, and yet you still stand, right?
Still
What would
standing,
be
yes.
what would be the final remark you would tell guys overall of everything like I just highlighted, the abuse, the court system, the cops, the lockup, the guys that's sitting there seeing going through similar things that you went through and just feel like, you know what? Okay, that was him. He probably did, and he had a support system, right?
Right, right, right.
What would you tell them? The final remark. What would if you had to come out of your support system and in front of a audience of guys to tell them like, listen,
Hmm.
this is what you could do. What would you tell them before you leave?
Well, I would tell them number one, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Keep pushing. Keep doing what you're supposed to do. Make those reports. All that stuff help you out in the end. You can't sit back and just continue to let this stuff happen to you and don't do anything about it, because if you don't do anything about it, nothing's going to happen. Only thing you're going to do is keep getting disappointments. So when you make that move and you start making your reports, you're going to start seeing, yeah, this system does work for men. And that's what you got to do. You got to go make your report because it does work for men. I'm a living proof that it worked for men.
Okay. And I want to go back a little bit, backtrack. You said you're a CDL, you're a truck driver, right?
Yes, yes.
And guys that have record, do the CDL doesn't matter? Can they be a truck
Listen,
driver?
tell them to go get their CDL. That doesn't hold nothing against you. You can go get your CDL. It's a life changer. A lot of dudes that have been incarcerated, when they come out, they go get their CDL and they see it as a life changer. So yes, that's another thing. Please, guys, go get your CDL. It's totally different. You don't have to punch no clock. You're your own boss. Go get your CDL.
Mhm. Okay, so stay there. You could get a job as a CDL for your background, what you've been
Good
through,
money.
stop you.
You good money. You can provide for your family. There's no struggle once you got your CDLs. You always got a job once you got your CDLs. Go get them.
Okay. Well,
Hmm.
again, I'm Tashieanna O'Connor and Michael Hook. Thank you for being here with Childcare Challenges and
I
delivering
appreciate
daycare.
it. Thank
Have
you
a
so
fun.
much.